And now,
introducing the one, the only.
Let me introduce to you
lively talk with successful people, barely filtered. This is the Jenna Ben Show.
All right. Thank you for tuning into our very first episode of Fight or Die. I'm here with UFC middleweight Uriah Hall. How you doing, Uriah?
Great. Lighting's perfect.
So Uriah has been on the show before, and through being on the show, we became good buds and we've actually hung out in person. And we came up with this random idea to do a show segment together. So today is kind of a reintroduction to Uriah because you guys are going to be seeing and hearing more of him. So Uriah, introduce yourself as a fighter. You know, typically when I do the show, I roll through like stats and rankings, and yeah, you're the number 10 middleweight, but like, how would you describe yourself to someone who doesn't really watch UFC?
Don't do it. Don't even watch it.
No.
Kidding.
But you, describe yourself.
Well, I am tall, dark, and handsome. I'm an immigrant from Jamaica, the lovely, beautiful Jamaica. Came to America 1997. Upon arrival, I was bullied. Turns out I have an amazing gift, awesome talent to fight. Learned through a video game called Tekken. Mastered it. And then next thing you know, became a black belt. Started to compete. Next thing you know, I'm competing professionally. Now I'm hurting people for a living. I'm getting paid professionally. And in my off time, I like to read. I love nature. I love the beach. I don't really like stupid people because it minimizes my brain a little bit. And at the time, I like to grow because growth is very important. And my job in life, that I think, is to become a better version of myself. And through that, it's 2 chapters in your life. So that pretty much is part of me.
I dig it. I actually didn't know that you like to read, though.
Oh, I love to read. What I like to read a lot of inspirational stuff, you know, to stimulate my mind in that realm. I love stories too, but anything involves to, you know, create some type of excitement or measurement to a next chapter or even benefit me motivational wise, so I can either pass it on in that realm. That I love. It's like feeding your brain good food.
Yeah. You fed me some good food, literally and figuratively. Wait, that sounded weird. We've eaten together. And then we've but we've gotten deep with our conversations.
Yeah, we got really deep. You know, I'm a deep guy, and I don't think a lot of people can relate with me, and that's okay, you know, because we're not all for everybody. There's almost 8 billion. You know, I'm a deep guy, and I like to kind of see the light of what's really happening in the world right now. So
yeah. Okay, so you told me a story when we were talking the last time we hung out. We were talking about your next fight and kind of how fighting is so psychological. And then you told me a story that inspired me to want to name our segment Fight or Die. Are you willing to share that story?
Well, which story? I told you a lot of stories.
Well,
one time, but what stories are you talking about?
Your friend said to you, I think I made a comment and I was like, I want you to hear my voice in your ear when you're fighting. And you said, you know, my friend said something to me and it stuck with me because he was so passionate about it. And he's like, you get in that cage and you fight or you die.
Yes.
I'm surprised you didn't make the connection about the name of the segment until now.
I know.
Yeah.
No. So my best friend, Uriah Cooper, who just wrote an amazing book called Sugar Water. Actually, that's the memoir, but he has an amazing story, A Most Beautiful Thing, and it's about the first Black rowing team in Chicago, which is very inspirational and very motivating. It's not Cool Runnings. I know a lot of people are like Cool Running. No. I told him to call it Cool Rowings, though. But anyways, there was a point in my career where, you know, I was just getting into the sport and, you know, I was up and coming with some really big challenges. And I remember this guy I was supposed to fight called Nodar something. And he was like this Greco guy. And, you know, I'm a striker, so I was fearful of wrestling. And I just remember before I got out there, he just said, hey, man, when you go out there, because everyone's in your ear, you can win, you can do this. And he just made it simple. He was like, dude, win or die. And he was like, either you go out there and you let it go or you die. And this is no other option. I just remember hearing that going, damn, that's it. Just win or die, which is like die trying. And that kind of motivated me to go out there and put forth my best. And of course, later on, I related to life, because in life, you're either going to go after something or you die trying. But a lot of people can't understand that concept, because like, oh, this didn't work out for me. Let me just do something else, which is okay. Yeah. But at the same time, how important is it to you? Yeah. But, teachers in life are always going to teach you to really put your best forth in the worst circumstances. And we just have to remember that, because life is going to hit hard. And I personally I'm starting to believe that it's not really us failing ourselves, it's us listening to other people that are really stupid. And that's kind of coming into our minds. And then next, we're doubting ourselves. It's like hearing the word no. Okay, so 1 or 2 people say no, I got to move on to the next 5 or 600. Yeah. Eventually say yes, So we're our own worst critic, but at the same time, we let these negative negative people. It's like trolls. Like this morning, I was arguing with this troll, and right before I wrote a comment,
you on Instagram.
Oh, I love it. I had the good guy, bad guy, and the good guy was like, dude, don't say anything. Obviously, these people are just trying to get in your head. They amount to nothing. They probably live with their mom. Don't give it. And if you give it attention, then they'll win. Just move forward. You're better than this. You're a better guy. They don't know you. They don't know the struggle you have to endure to get to where you have to be. And then this guy's like, fuck that. Kill this motherfucker. If you see this motherfucker, you chop his nuts and feed it to him. You sew it all up and just keep him fucking food. So
which lane did you go?
I went this guy.
Okay. So you told him to F off.
I didn't just tell him to F off. I like to insult people intelligently, because then they have to question their whole life. Oh, why did I say that? I mean, there's a lot of stupid people. I've met a couple in life, and I'm not going to say what I did, but, people just think they can get away with that bullshit talk on social media. They forget I'm from New York, where I fight in the streets too, motherfucker. So.
Yeah. Well, there was we haven't talked about this off camera, so you probably don't know this is coming, but there was a particular comment. I was going through your Instagram this morning, and I'm actually going to read it on air in a little bit, but wait for it. All right. So you guys listening and watching, basically that's the vibe of the show. We wholeheartedly believe that you should go after it, fight or die. And that's in life and anything you do in love. So we're basically going to be talking about some fight stuff, life stuff, relationship stuff, just all of it. And if there's something specific that you want to hear, don't be shy to DM either one of us, probably me, because I don't think Uriah checks his DMs.
I do.
Unless it's like naked pics.
Definitely DM her. No dick pics. No dick
pics. All right. So I quickly just want to do a little studio reveal, guys. I'll probably do a more detailed one, but I did put my heart and soul, like literally blood, sweat, and tears went into what you see behind me. And what's very special to me, these gloves right here are from our boy, Uriah Hall. And he wrote, "To the coolest chick on the block, Jenna Ben," and he signed them, and it means the world to me. Uriah and I become very good friends, and everything about Uriah, about you, is very genuine. That much I've come to know. So
thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And when Francis was on the show last week, I read him your little, we talked to each other in African accent, this and that. And he did Wakanda forever.
Wakanda. Francis told me.
Yeah. Right. So I think we should have him back on the three of us, and just kind of do like a 5-minute catch up.
God, I'm not going to be able to focus with Francis. Who are you? Why you are talking like me? What do you mean?
Dude, when I asked him, I was like, "Are you still a Mike Tyson fan?" He goes, "Why do you ask if I am still a Mike Tyson fan?" Of course. And I was like, okay, we are definitely Mike Tyson fans around here.
Yes, I am. Of course I am. Yes.
I love them. All right. So I did a survey. I don't know if you saw this, but I put a survey up on Instagram asking people what's scarier, fighting a UFC fighter or getting into a verbal argument with a group of women? What's your vote?
Fuck. I'm gonna go with women.
So, all right, so 23 people chose UFC fighters, including one UFC fighter.
That's harder?
Yeah. And then 78 people, including 5 UFC fighters, said group of women are scarier.
Fuck yeah, especially if they're Karens. Fuck that.
Describe a Karen for us.
So a Karen is usually white, you know, short hair with her little 60s or 70s, what do you call it, hippie purse. They usually wear those bell-bottom pants and those, you know, like shirt you can just throw on, just regular shirt. And, you know, they complain about everything. Like, you can't leave your shopping cart here. You're supposed to put it in. You're like, all right, bitch, you want to do it for me? You know?
Yeah.
They complain about everything. They usually ask for the manager. You can't do that. You say this. I'm like, what are you, the law? Well, I know the law. What the fuck are you? What? A Karen is someone that makes you lose your brain. Now, usually a Karen for a white person is like that. I think for a black person, what do they call them? Kanisha, maybe?
I don't think it exists in the black culture because are black people known for being know-it-alls?
Once in a while they pop up. They're just angry, loud, big black women that just, you're like, bitch, shut the fuck up. Oh, and for dude, I think it's Kevin.
You posted something about weight cutting on HBO. Is that like a new thing that just came out, or I wanted to ask you about that?
So I did that show, I forgot when I did it. Maybe the beginning of the year or whatever, or of last year. And I had an incident where I was cutting weight and I literally almost died. My kidney went into acute failure. And I just remember that moment where I was just like, no, let me just make it to the scale, you know, because as an athlete, as a martial artist, I'm disciplined. So I'm like, you know what, I got to show up. And, you know, there's no sick days. It's not like a regular job with like, you know what, my neck's not feeling good, let me call out. You know, I fought with broken toe, messed up back, messed up everything. The last time I fought at 100%, and I'm being honest, was when I was on The Ultimate Fighter. That was the last time I fought 100%. Wow. I don't remember fought, and I wasn't 100. Maybe the last fight, I was kind of 100%, but the camp, I actually busted my shoulder, didn't use my right hand the entire camp. I was jabbing the entire camp. So, you know, I was hurt and just managed to pull through it. But after cutting the weight and, you know, I had some issues doing it, it was a scary situation. It was a scary moment.
I want to play a game called Would You Rather Weight Cutting Edition. Just 5 simple scenarios and tell me which you prefer.
All right.
Eat a bag of worms or weight cut?
Weight cut.
Spend 24 hours naked with another dude in a room with nothing to do.
Weight cut. Weight cut. Weight cut.
Walk on fire every hour for 24 hours.
Weight cut.
Listen to your parents do it all night long.
Cut. Weight cut. I'll even cut it twice if I have to.
Okay. Yeah. Binge watch The Real Housewives of Potomac with a bunch of middle-aged moms for a day.
I'll watch that shit. I'll watch that.
Yes. All right. I love it. Okay. Let's talk about dating as a fighter. People are fascinated, but there's like nothing out there. And so many people have come to me, including Frank Shamrock, and he's like, can you merge? Since you're already doing dating, you're already doing fighting, can you merge? And I'm like, listen, so many fighters are in relationships. Like the last media day I went to, every single person was tied up. So I happen to have a single guy in front of me who is honest AF, this guy. So break it down. What's it like dating as a fighter?
Fuck. Well, it's kind of tough, but for the guys that have that, you know, day one supporters, which I think is important, especially in this sport. You know, you have the girls that have been there through your trials and tribulation. Hate to bring him up, but let's look at Connor. You know, his girlfriend's been with him for a long time. I think they just got engaged and stuff like that. It's very, because in this sport, you're always going to have people coming in and out. You're going to have these trashy girls just trying to, you know, slide in your DM, trying to get, you know, and it's tempting at the time. I'm guilty of it. But as you get older in the sport, you know, I personally think you're always going to want that one to kind of ride or die with you. And it's hard to find that because of the environment. And I've dated outside, and it's hard too because they don't really understand the mindset you got to have, the diet you have to have, the, hey, I can't really talk right now, I'm tired, the it's fight week, sweetheart, I can't really talk right now, could you just give me some time? And you've constantly explained yourself, and you get the whole, well, why don't you want to pay attention to me? Like, bitch, I got to kill somebody in a couple hours. Can you leave me alone? So it's very, it's very challenging. And what I've learned over the course of this is to be honest with yourself. You know, if you're at the point where you just want to mess around, that's fine. But at the same time, be honest with the other individual too. But be honest with yourself first to know what you want. Obviously, for a lot of athletes, preferably basketball players, it's very easy to, you know, play with a lot of emotions, I like to call it. You know, you're dating here and there, you're messing around. Again, I was guilty of it too, because it's easy. You know, you're in the limelight, you see all these beautiful women, and most of them are even throwing themselves at you. You're like, damn, this shit is that easy? And then next thing you know, one turns to two, three, four. Next thing you know, it becomes a habit. Now it's more of just something to conquer, because as men, you know, we like shiny objects. Oh, new toy. Oh, new toy. Oh, new toy. So it's much easier for men. Women do it too, apparently. Some of these athletes, women are doing it too. But I think women kind of get a little faster than men because, you know, they're emotional. But it's a weird balance. So if you don't have that day one ride or die, it's going to be hard. But sometimes you get lucky and you're just like, damn, I really love this girl. And next thing you know, you guys mesh. But the first thing is just be honest with yourself to know at least what you want first.
Now, frequency-wise, how many naked or kind of sexy DMs do you get on a weekly basis?
How many I send out? I'm just kidding.
Well, yeah, answer that.
Around 3 or 4. No, I had like a period where I was getting, first of all, I got dudes sending me dick pics, which was so weird. And I'm like, bruh, wrong tree. This tree is not to be climbed by another, period.
Yeah.
I had a couple of homosexual dudes sending. I told my sisters, and they were like, oh, it's a compliment, because, you know, gay men, they know what they like, and they like pretty straight guys. And I'm like, I don't fucking feel better hearing that. Like, that doesn't.
Wait, so you open it, and what's your reaction? Like, you're opening your DMs, and you're like, oh.
Fuck. I've got photos from some women as well. I remember seeing someone, and some girl was going to my DM, and I'm like, now I'm seeing someone, and she was kind of persistent about it. And I even took the time to turn the curve to say, listen, I'm sure you're a beautiful girl. I'm sure you're a great person. You don't have to sell yourself in that way to belittle yourself to feel good.
Oof, burn, Uriah.
I said that. I said all of it.
I get that you're trying to be kind and you're trying to course correct, right? But all you did was take a girl who was putting herself out there for you and chastise her.
Fuck. I'm over there trying to help humanity, but fuck it.
Saving lives, one DM at a time.
Lives. What?
So do you prefer, like, as you call them, outsiders or women in your sport?
I like a lady, a femme, you know. First of all, the sport's kind of masculine. Even as a woman, you know, you're kind of masculine, you know. I want a feminine touch, feminine, but it's such a weird combination, because sometimes they're either too feminine where they don't get the other aspect of that manliness you catch. Like, there's being a man, and then there's like a fighter man. Like, my coach Safe Sahood. He's like probably one of the manliest men I've ever met. Like, that
What
dude
makes
is,
him manly?
I don't know. He drives a truck, so that's a start. You know, he's very cool, and the way he presents himself and he carries himself, his demeanor is very straightforward. You know, like, you know, as a man, he would say stuff like, you know, you build an environment around you. You establish yourself. At this age, you're supposed to establish yourself in this independence way. Getting a house, you know, having a family, taking care of your family like that. But the way he says it and how he approaches it makes me like, damn, you're a fucking man. Give me some of that shit. But we're all men in our own way as men.
Yeah.
But ego that takes over. Like driving in Dallas, all these men that have big trucks like to rev their engine for some reason. I don't get it. I guess they have little penises, and that's their way of saying I'm bigger on the outside. But again, to each their own.
That's so, I hate when people do that.
Pussiest thing to do. And if you're out there looking at this, you're a pussy.
No. Okay, moving on. I do want to ask you a dating question, though. This just came up on a call with my friend last night, and I gave her a certain set of advice, but I'm curious to see what advice you would give. Okay. So sometimes when you're dating a guy, there's a transition from like, first he's, you know, whining and dining you, taking you to nice places. He does the reservation, he does the chair pull out, you know, he's doing all the stops, right? Mm-hmm. And then at some point, maybe a few dates in, he transitions to, you want to come over tonight and we'll order some food. And then, you know, it's like before you know it, the dates become more like, let's just hang out as opposed to the effort of going out. So my question for you is, this has been a pattern for her and for a lot of women. Ooh. So does this suggest that this was the guy's agenda all along? And the reason I'm asking that is because I've had guys come on my dating shows saying that like, they have their set date spots that they take the girl to, they pull out all the stuff, they do the thing because they know it's just that easy to get them back to their place. Or did he just lose interest along the way? And is that an indicator of interest lost?
I don't think it's interest. We have to look at the basics. What's the basic for men? All men are dogs. Why are they dogs? Because we're hunters. We're hunters. We like to hunt. A guy has a flashy car. It's not for him. It's a bait. Gotcha, bitch. You know, it's the bait for the girl. It's a bait. So being that men are naturally hunters, I wouldn't say it's a disinterest. It's more of just what we have in our mind to say, I'm going to keep it real here. I'm trying to get some pussy. That's what it is. I'm going to wine and dine. I'm going to put my chair out. I'm going to be a gentleman. And I'm not going to take it away for the 3% of men out there that are actually a good guy. But for most of them, majority of them, we're just trying to get it in, you know? And I know for most women, they see stuff like that because I might be wrong here. I don't think I am. A lot of women are emotional. So you react mostly off that emotion. So when you see all that stuff, oh my God, he's actually a good guy. Oh my God, he's actually a nice guy. So that feeds into it, forgetting that men are men. And then later on, you're like, well, he kind of changed. Why he's a dick? Well, guess what, bitch? You gave him some pussy and he got comfortable. But a lot of women is going to be like, well, I'm not going to give it up on the third, fourth, fifth, sixth date. And then it might lead to a disinterest. My advice is to know, if I know the basics,
okay,
that all dogs, I'm not going to just walk around with that idea and be like, well, all y'all are fucking dogs, so fuck y'all. It's to say, I know normally what a guy's intentions are, but I'm still going to be me with respect. I value myself. I know what I want. And if you want to, you know, get married, if you want to fuck him on the fifth date, whatever you want, still have those moral values, but don't put so much expectation on it. That's where a lot of people fail. When you put too much expectation on it, when you don't get it out, when you don't enjoy it, when you don't get to feel the person out, when you just listen to all these things and just look at the pretty picture and you don't really ride it out. Same thing goes for men too, because I was at a point in my life where I was the hopeless romantic and I was doing all the things that I thought women would like, the random flowers, the hidden messages, say I love you, how I care, the surprise you at work, the picking you up. And then this shit got backfired in my face. And I'm like, wait a minute, I thought guys supposed to do this and women love this shit. But
why did it backfire?
it was just more of either you hear the word overdoing, and then when you underdo it, then you're an asshole. But when you overdo it, you're boring or whatever. So it leads to a lot of women saying, I want the perfect guy, which doesn't exist. And then you're like, well, what's the perfect guy? Well, be nice, but don't be too nice. Or be a little hard, but, just, bitch, what the fuck do you want? You know what I'm saying? Like, want someone, see what their values are, ride a little bit. If you don't like it, get the fuck out. Like, it complicates relationships. I'm a little bit old school. I'll take you out and, I want to get to know you and stuff like that. Like, I've been on the apps and stuff like that. It's a little weird to just swipe. Yeah. Because it's like, I'm just looking at your face. And then when you match with someone because they look pretty, you find that they're a fucking weirdo. Like, I remember being on the app and I matched with someone and she was asking me all these weird questions. Like, the first thing was, do you like Trump? Blah, 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 blah. Like, God damn, bitch. I get what you're doing, but guess what you just did? I'm out of here, bitch. So it's a delicate balance.
But so when you describe the whole thing of like, be nice, but not too nice, women go through that too. It's like, if a woman is too nice and too available and too sweet, men lose interest. And so I think it's a universal thing. It's a matter of
because men, we want to feel wanted. That's why we like to give things. We're givers. We like to give. We want to feel wanted. But that overly want kind of, I remember at one point in my life, kind of subject the whole, all right, I guess this is it. She want to get married. Now I'm cut off. I can't do other things, So wow. Most men will feel trapped right away, where I like to say, go with the flow. And I remember saying this in the past, and, my ex used to be like, oh, that's just your way of being afraid to commit. And I was like, am I afraid to commit? And I started to believe that. And it wasn't true. It wasn't that I was afraid to commit. It was, I wanted things to happen natural. Because when it's natural flow, then it builds the right way. There's work, but then there's now too much. And now you guys don't understand each other. And now it's just like a clusterfuck. But when it's natural, then it flows. And then eventually you guys will start to do this to each other.
I'm calling you out on the afraid to commit.
Me?
Yeah, dude. Just because I know you, I think, and you know what? I'm not even judging you because I have some of the same stuff in me where like, if you're faced with a situation where you have to think, oh my God, this person has some sort of expectation of a future. How do I feel? Because what I know about you is that you are a wonderful person and you have a heart of gold. You're never going to want to hurt somebody intentionally or even unintentionally. So to avoid hurting someone, you'll cut shit off early.
I wouldn't say cut shit off early. And I'm glad you called me out on this. So what the whole thing was to make you think I have a commitment problem. I've learned over the past year or maybe more that it's not really commitment issues. It's past problems that I haven't fixed. And if I haven't fixed those, then I carry it over. Like at one point I was comparing new relationships to the old ones, because I was like, well, it should be like this, it should be like this. And the moment I see something that's not in line with it, next, I back out because, all right, it's not the way that I think it's supposed to be. So my past in certain realm of past relationship, because I was in love at one point with one person who I thought was my soulmate, it messed up my future relationships. And I remember being in a relationship and the person even said, you would never love me the way you love that girl. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, that was a different type of love. But she was right, because I didn't get over it, and I was using things to move forward. Now, hitting the word commitment, for me personally as a man, I felt, you know what? I haven't established myself the way I feel I'm supposed to give that emotional side. Because I know a lot of women can't go backwards in lifestyle, meaning they're settled. You know what? He's a doctor, but he has a little dick. I'll stick around. Most women want to feel secure. They want to know that, you know what, future-wise, I know this person can take care of me, provide for me properly. I don't want you to just fuck me. I want you to be able to take care of me and the kids and stuff like that. So that's what I know. So if I'm going to move forward into a relationship, I personally know I have a goal to make sure I'm established. And the word I would use is freedom. And the reason why I'm using the word freedom, because I want to be freedom, whether it's financially, emotionally, and spiritually. I'm making these goals for myself. I don't want to just jump into something and just fuck it up. If I'm going to make that decision, I want to be secure so I can give that person what they really need.
I hear you and I respect it. And I love that you're like working on getting your ducks in a row. But the female perspective on this, and women talk about this all the time, is great. That's dope. You're ambitious. It's good enough. I'm speaking on behalf of women right now, and women, forgive me if you don't agree, but I think the consensus is it's good enough that you're ambitious and that you're working towards your goal. You don't have to have already achieved the pot of gold. You know what I mean? Women just want to be with someone who's about something. I think the right woman, perhaps, you know, because of course everybody likes nice things, but there are people out there who are genuinely looking for a connection with someone who is willing to work as hard as they are to achieve their goals.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm gonna say that you don't need someone to complete you, because a lot of people feel, and you said it too, that you don't need someone to complete you. No one completes you.
I said that?
You didn't say the word per se, but to what you're saying about the connection, you know, it's the need. It's a want. It's like a piece to a puzzle. It's a need. I personally feel you don't need someone to complete you. No one completes you. That companionship, that longing, I want to get your shit together first before you do any of that shit. For men or women, you only need someone to accept you completely, because everybody has shit. You got shit. I got shit. I might have to lose some of my shit to get with your shit. You might have to lose some of your shit to get to my shit. We might have to add some shit on top of shit. There's a lot of shit going around. But you have to have someone to accept you completely, because we all want to be accepted. We're all different in our own way. Some of us are weird. Some of us are different, whatever that is. There's people out there that are attracted to people that are fat. There are people out there that are attracted to people that are skinny. There are people out there that like abs. There are people out there that like big dick, whatever your preference is who you are. But
what's your preference?
In what way?
Women, physically.
You mean like in shape, or? Like
just describe your girl that we all have somewhat of a type that, like, who's going to catch your eye?
I think as I grow older, it's more of just personality, because I can look at you all day, but can I talk to you? Mm-hmm. Can I hold a conversation? Can I sit next to you and not say anything and not feel weird? Yeah, the whole prettiness. I've dated some beautiful women. Some of them are fucking stupid, but
right.
I'm not quite attracted to in that realm, but I'm like, oh my God, I can hold a conversation. So for me personally, as I'm getting older, that's more important to me. It's like Instagram. These Instagram fucking models, they're followed by a lot of perverts because they like to see that shit. I don't care for it. I'm actually sick of it. I'm sick of seeing all these fucking women on Instagram. Like, what the fuck, bitch? What have you done to save this world? You just showing your ass all of a sudden? You got it. You have 12 million followers just looking at your fucking ass, and you're posting amazing background pictures of nature with your ass saying, life is all about sunshine and rainbows. Don't forget to take risks. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. All these men are falling for her like, yeah, she's right. Like,
oh my God. All right. We haven't gotten to any fight stuff.
Fuck the fight. We see it all the time.
We see it all the time. I know. We'll save whatever's left for the next show. But one thing, because you're such a deep person, I actually want to talk to you about something I felt yesterday. It was kind of like a realization. People just want respect. Like, if we break it down, like all the way down, and I'm not talking about dating, I'm just like the homeless person on the street, the clerk at the CVS, you know, the person serving your food at the restaurant, person next to you filling up gas. Like, I notice that when I take the time to make eye contact and give a little smile. Even with the mask on, you can kind of tell if someone's smiling. I'm like, energy, to me, I think energy is so real that like if I'm smiling, somehow subconsciously, some way you're going to feel it, even if you can't see it with the mask on. And it's like people just react to it. And I see that the smallest thing has the ability to make somebody's moment better. I won't say day, but just in that moment. And I think that if we took more time to be conscious of this and put out good energy in whatever form we're comfortable with, I don't know why I made the connection of like eye contact and respect with less school shootings. It's weird. It's almost like, because, you know, when you read the backstories of these kids, they were made fun of and bullied and disrespected, like down to the core. It was about respect. Mm-hmm. If they were just acknowledged a little bit and not made to feel, you know, non-existent, mm-hmm. things would be better, right? Then maybe they wouldn't feel the need to go to display their hurt in such a horrible way.
Wow, yeah, I agree. I mean, I was one of those kids. I almost committed suicide because other kids told me I was ugly or I wouldn't amount to anything or my accent was different or weird to them. I even almost shoot up a school because that was my last resort. I got beat up. I didn't know what to do and I didn't want it to happen anymore. So I was like, let me kill this kid. I didn't even think about the repercussion. Luckily and thankfully, I couldn't get a gun because people were like, dude, you can't ask for a gun like that. And then this 15 years old asking, hey man, you know, I can get a gun, because I'm like, this ain't going to happen to me anymore. It shaped and molded me into who I am today. And those people were in my life for a reason. You know, they made me aware of certain things that I can do. Because growing up in Jamaica, I didn't even know what racism was until I came to America. So I learned all this stuff from America. In New York City, of all places, which is the epitome of assholism. I'm lying. It's Boston. Boston is the epitome of...
Is it?
Oh, God. You want to meet some real assholes? Next time you're in Boston, just yell out, hey, asshole, and watch how many people turn around. But New York is just dick. You know, and they're assholes, too. I'm a former asshole, so I can say that. But as a kid, not having either a father figure, you know, my mom's single mom at the time, me and my sister, my brother lived together. It's like, yeah, I didn't have that guidance. And looking back now, I'm glad I didn't take that step to take my life, but I also appreciated the lesson I learned. And that's one of the things I learned as I got old, is to pay attention. Because when you pay attention, you learn something. There's a problem with that because you can overpay attention to pay attention to almost everything.
Yeah.
You know, you start doing that, you forget the present. So everything in life, to me, is a balance. You eat too much, you get fat. You don't eat enough, you're skinny. You eat enough, your metabolism, your micros and your macros will line up. You have the right amount of energy. It's all balance. How do we use that balance? You said about respect. Obviously, everyone wants respect. Everybody wants respect. But the thing what a lot of people don't realize is everybody has their own battle. Like, we're all battling. We have our own battle right now. You have your battle. I don't know what it is. There are things that you're going through that I don't know.
Yeah.
Things even worse than maybe other. I have my battles too. I have my demons. We all have our demons. And most of the time it comes out in our personality, in our faces, the way we speak. We don't want to say hi to anybody. We're thinking about it. We used to go to Starbucks. I'm like, damn, bitch, you served me coffee and you're angry? You angry at breakfast? Like, what the fuck? I don't know that this person might be, this person might be saying, fuck, how am I going to pay my rent? This job is not paying me enough, or whatever the case may be. We're all having a battle. So what you said is very important. The gesture of being nice to even say, hey, how's your day going? And I've been doing that recently. You know, I was at Target earlier, and of course it was just a cordial, and I was like, how's it going? How's, you know? And next thing the person starts smiling, having a conversation, and I was like, oh, is that easy? Mm-hmm. And my all the time, she's like, Uriah, you should smile. Because I don't like people. I mean, I like people, but I a lot of stupid people. So it gets me angry. But then I'm like, wait a minute. I can't just focus on the negative. What about the good people out there? Like, I've met stupid fans and I've met great fans, just genuine people. I'd be like, hey man, just want to say thank you for what you're doing. I realize you're sacrificing a lot out there, and great job, man. Like, and I'm like, oh, thank you, dude. And I just meet people like, yo, what's up, man? Smacking me on the back, like, yo, can I get a picture, bro? I'm like, if you don't back the fuck up, I'm picture. You know? So I get it.
But here, I actually want to play devil's advocate for a second. Is it possible that the same people that might make some off-colored comments on Instagram are actually good people, but they're just having a moment?
No, they're a genuine, straight up asshole, and they belong. They're asshole. You take the time, your day, your busy fucking day, to come on my wall, or anybody's wall, any athletes, and speak anything. You're a piece of shit. I'm having a bad day. Let me see how I can take this out on someone. Fuck you. Get the fuck out of here.
Okay, I hear you. I personally believe that we have the ability to assist in the course correction process in someone else's life by being kind. So like,
yeah,
you know, this is the phrase I was looking for before when I mentioned respect. People want and deserve to be seen. That's what it is. I think if people feel seen.
Seen for what?
Seen, just I exist, you know? We live in a culture where, let's talk about the senior citizen community for a second. There's a lot of depression within that community that nobody acknowledges because they don't have much of a voice. And we live in a culture where everything is, new is better. And we dispose of the old and, look at sales and clearance racks last season. Like, there's so much terminology, even in marketing, that indicates to us that old is bad. And, I think that we disregard the old and they're not seen. It's hard for them to make friends.
People are just old people?
Huh?
You talking about like old people in general?
That's just an example. I think it exists in a lot of communities, but just, it's a matter of being seen. I don't know. Maybe for me, that phrase is so apparent, but for you, it doesn't make sense. And I don't know. I guess the listeners will decide.
No, I get it. You actually just said it. Listeners, I think if people start, and I've said this before to you, listen to understand.
You have.
We can agree. You said your piece. Can I say mine? Even if we don't agree, can I fucking say mine? Because now and you don't even want to hear my piece. So now you're telling me you're right and I'm wrong. Listen to understand and stop listening to reply. We all have the ability, most of us, to listen. Listen to understand. Like the Colin Kaepernick situation. I actually know the guy the military, I forgot his name.
Nate Boyer?
Who?
Was it Nate Boyer?
Yeah, Nate.
He's a friend of mine and he's been on the Jenna Ben show.
Well, yeah. Well, I saw he does the thing for
MVP.
Yes, MVP for military veterans. And the fact that he decided to listen to understand, even though Colin was kneeling because he was saying that, hey, it's a peaceful protest. This stuff is still happening in America. And I want to lend my silent voice to show that it's happening. And of course, everyone was like, fuck you, you're kneeling on the national anthem. Meanwhile, most of these motherfuckers have never fought or understand that the people that actually fought in the war are fighting for freedom of actually protesting, fighting for that speech to protest. And he listened to understand, to say, let me hear this guy out for a second. Let me see why he's even doing this. And he, sat down, he reached out to him, Colin wrote back, sat down, talk about it. He's all proud American to do it. Meanwhile, Colin's still doing it, but they both listen to each other. It might not be the same, but they listen. That to me is like the best example ever. They're standing for opposite, whatever, but they listen to understand each other. We don't do that, especially America. We don't give a fuck. You ever travel outside the country and hear Americans? They're fucking stupid, loud, obnoxious, doing dumb shit. It's like, dude, sit down and shut the fuck up. We always want to be loud. We're puffing our chests up.
Maybe we'll have Nate come on and chat with us.
You should.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Good guy.
All right. Some fight stuff.
The boring stuff. Go on.
No, it's not too, I don't get technical. I'm more into like the man behind the fighter. All right. Just curious. I know it's not your weight class, but who do you think is going to be up for the next heavyweight title fight?
It should be Francis,
It should be Francis.
Yeah. The two consecutive guys that I've been seeing is Francis and I would say Overeem. Although Francis beat Overeem, or even the Black Beast. Listen, that is probably the most entertaining fighter I've ever seen. I mean, Derek Lewis, Black Beast.
Okay.
No technique, just straight bombs. Everybody's like, oh. I love watching that guy fight because it's like he does shit where you're like a bar fight, and he's funny as hell. My balls was hot. Classic.
Okay. When I asked Francis about it, he's like, of course it should be me. He's like, I'm number one. And he actually made a good point. He's like, it's not the title holder's choice anymore. When you're a contender, you get to choose your next fight. But when you are a title holder, it's your responsibility to fight who's up next in the rankings, and Francis is number one. Mm-hmm. So because, Stipe put out that post that he's like, I've already fought Francis, give me someone new. But
I get that. I totally get that. It's oh man, if we're really gonna get into this, it's politics, man. It's fighting has gone from honor and everything else that good morals, and it's just politics. No one gives a fuck. If I go out there and start talking about feed the kids, no one gives a fuck. It's trash talking. It's politics. It's all like Colby. I will smack that dude if I see him again. I'm gonna smack the taste out of his mouth if I see that dude again. It's like it's all politics. No one gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck, and that's how you have to look at it in the fight game. No one gives a fuck. The fans don't give a fuck. The MMA fans are probably the worst next to soccer fans. Soccer fans will actually kill you. But MMA fans are just fucking straight up stupid. The shit that they say and do, and there's no repercussion, that's what baffles me. Like, you take the time out of your day to, knowing that a professional fighter will kill you, and the safety behind your keyboard is your life. Yeah. Of course I'm going to be offended. Of course I'm going to feel insulted. Of course any fighter is going to be sensitive. They sacrifice so much. I mean, to be inside the octagon is one thing, but outside, it's so scary. And a lot of people don't talk about it. No one sees that. The weight cutting, which on HBO, you'll hear about. Yeah. People cutting that much weight. The weight classes that are bigger gaps away from each other. It's not like boxing. Boxing, a heavyweight and a middleweight could be like literally 10 pounds away from each other. Yeah. I know for a fact I can beat any boxer in the world. You know why? Because I can kick. But, boxers are getting paid more, which I still don't understand. MMA fighters do a hell of a lot more. I mean, you have to train for so many styles. You got to work your wrestling, your strength and conditioning, your boxing, your kickboxing, your judo. All these things. So to me, you're an elite. And to have someone with the audacity to put you down, I mean, no one really loses. Yeah, you stumble. I look at it this way. We're all lions in a room filled with lions. And we're all chasing that gazelle. That gazelle is the belt. We're all chasing it. Sometimes you get the gazelle, someone takes it out of your hand. Sometimes you miss the gazelle. Sometimes you catch the gazelle and let it go. We're all chasing the same thing, chasing glory. And I respect any man that steps in the octagon, but he can be beaten. We all bleed the same colored blood. Who do you think is an up-and-comer to watch out for? Let me rephrase. Who do you think is an up-and-comer to watch out for? You just said the same thing. No, I said upper-comer. I heard you say the exact same thing. Well, a lot of them, first of all, UFC signing dudes left, right, and center. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Where did you come from? Michael Chandler. I'm not really impressed. He's a great athlete. He's a great fighter. I just don't see it. I don't see it. I'm not trying to have an ego or talk shit. I would never talk shit about him. I think he's phenomenal. I just don't see it. If anyone that I've seen improve a lot as a fighter One of them would be Gaethje. I love watching that dude, but I think he's improved so much.
Yeah.
As far as up and coming, if you're talking about up and coming from scratch, definitely my partner, my teammate, Jeff Neal.
I love Jeff. Jeff.
Yeah.
These are, oh my God, can I just tell you really fast? You guys can't see it on camera. So he signed both gloves. But when I did my Instagram live with him for his birthday, I was like, okay, send me something. I was like, send me some gloves. And he was like, okay, cool. And I thought he said, you got it from yo daddy. And then I said, like, I was like, hold on, I didn't hear that right. So I was like, wait, what'd you say?
But
He goes, okay, send me the Addy. But we didn't have the best connection. And so he signed the glove, Jeff Neal, AKA Daddy. Thank you, Jeff.
I don't even know what to say to that.
I know, because Jeff is so like straightforward and to the point, but he's a really great guy.
Jeff is such a he's humble, man. He's a killer. I mean, he's a 70-pounder, and the dude is just so fast. What I love about Jeff, sparring him or training with him, he switches his rhythm. It's like if you catch up, he'll be like, all right, I'm going over here now. And you're like, what the fuck? So as an athlete, as a fighter, great. As a freaking human being, one of the most genuine dude I've ever met. Love hanging out with him, love training with him. He pushes me, I'm older, so he pushes me, man. And just that connection we have in training, if I'm down, he knows how to pick me up to be like, just, you got to be there to see it. But great guy, just overall great guy.
Okay, so I promised him that if he made it to LA, I would take him out, drinks, whatever. But now I'm compelled to come visit you guys. And I know you don't really like to drink, but if I'm coming out your way, you're going to have drinks with us.
It's got to be either like a really, really sweet wine, because I'm a bitch. So we're thinking Moscato or Riesling.
All right, that's fine. We'll have tequila. We'll do the hard stuff, and you can have the girl drinks.
Whoa. It's not a girl drink. It's not a girl. It's a sophisticated drink. Let's get it right. Wine, first of all, notice my Italian movement here. Wine, first of all, is a very sophisticated drink.
Your hand.
You drink wine, yeah, you got to be sophisticated. Arrivederci.
Okay, so you have your fight coming up with Anderson Silva, and I wish we had more time to talk about this, but we do have a few minutes. You shared with me your feelings and thoughts about it kind of behind the scenes. Now, what are you willing to share with the listeners and viewers?
About
your feelings about fighting Anderson Silva.
Wow. Anderson Silva is one of the greatest of all time. It's not what he did, it's how he did it. To do what he did, it's just mind-blowing how he keeps us entertained. It's like a video game character. In my early days in my career, of course, I was compared to him. And I remember prior to even getting to the UFC, I saw him on my buddy's rooftop in Manhattan, probably 8 years ago or a little bit more. Wait, what year is this?
2020.
Yeah, it was probably 10 years ago. Probably 10 or 8 years ago. Anyways, we're watching him, and I'm like, who is this guy? This guy is amazing. I would love to train. I didn't say fight him. I said train with him. I would love to train with this guy. Of course, I got in my career and stuff. I started to mimic him because I'm a great person at mimicking. I learned from video games, so I mimic the cool art, and I mimic some of his moves. I watch his training and stuff like that. And Anderson inspires a lot of our new generations that are coming up in the fight world with his craftiness. So the first time that it didn't happen, I remember before it happened, 2 months prior of training, it took me around a month to get my mind wrapped around the idea, fuck, I'm fighting Anderson Silva. Because it's like, what is he going to do to me? That's what and I got out of that, and I got even more motivated. And I remember just becoming such a beast because I was like, yes, this is the guy that's going to get me out of that little shell, And when it didn't happen, I was devastated. I wasn't too as devastated, but later on, I remember seeing him. I think it was a night that he lost. It might have been the night that he lost to Weidman. I want to say the second time that, and I was fighting Chris Lieben, and we were backstage, and we made eye contact, and I'm sure he knew who I was because I came off The Ultimate Fighter, and Chael Sonnen was looked at him and be like, "You can beat that guy," you know. And we made eye contact, and I showed my respect, and he looked at me, and he put his fist up, and he was like, and I knew what that meant. It was more of just like a believe in yourself, you know, just
I just
you
got
can do it.
chills. Yeah.
And it was such an incredible moment. And I remember when I went out there, I was dancing. I beat the guy that he fought his first fight into the UFC, which was Chris Lieben. I beat Chris Lieben on his last fight. So there was a connection.
Yeah.
And I'm watching old videos. I'm seeing his picture with my picture. I'm watching old videos. I'm seeing his video with my video. It's always connecting us. So in the back of my head, I was like, yeah, I'm sure I'm going to fight this dude at some point. So when I got the call to do it, I was like, yeah. Because I was like, he's probably older. I don't want to fight him now. But to me, he's that championship mindset. He's that championship fight. Because he's my idol that became my rival. To me, I made it. Because that was the guy I looked at and say, yeah, I want to be like him. And now I'm going up against him. It's a fantastic story.
I love it. It's so heartwarming. And I love that you're so genuine about it, and you're willing to kind of put your heart out there and say, this is a really big deal for me. This was my idol and I'm fighting him. And there's a lot of pressure involved, and I respect him so much. And he impacted me so much earlier in my career. And here we are. And I love it. I mean, the fight is when?
Halloween.
Oh, wow. October 31st. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to try and make it out to Vegas. Hopefully see you at some point during fight week or after. But I know you got to get in your zone. So I always try to give fighters space. Yeah. Fight week for sure.
And tell your reporter friends, don't ask stupid questions like, so how do you feel? Well, I don't know, motherfucker. I'm dehydrated. I'm hungry. And I'm about to punch somebody, preferably you, for asking that stupid question.
Well, the media days are tough. I mean, I can tell when like I'm interviewing the fighters and then like their saliva's thick. I can tell they're dehydrated, you know, and they're just like,
just ask you dumb questions. And I'm notorious for calling them out. I remember one time I said, hey, one of you guys is going to ask me a stupid question and I'm going to bash you for it. Don't let it be you. Okay, first question, go. And they're all right.
And you guys, you get a lot of the same questions over and over again. Now the format's different because of COVID. It's just kind of like it's scrum. So like everyone's in the same room. But traditional media days, you know, if for you guys who don't know, it's just a free for all. And so the fighters are kind of sitting in an oval around the room in their own post. And then the media just wait in line, and then they take turns asking questions. So the media have no idea what was just asked. And so the fighters get asked a lot of the same questions, and everyone wants their own footage. Have you ever felt...
It's like this. I said, I'm sorry to cut you off. I remember when I was supposed to fight Anderson Silva the first time, and someone asked me a question like, what is it to fight Anderson Silva? And I said, in my defense, I thought it was a perfect statement. I said, man, the fact that I'm fighting one of the greatest of all time is such an incredible opportunity. I'm excited. I mean, I'm a little overwhelmed, but I just can't wait to get in there and just showcase my attributes. And this dickhead said Uriah Hall is overwhelmed to fight Anderson Silva.
Oh, clickbait.
That's why I hate the media. That's why I'm like, fuck you guys. Every day I'm looking at them like, don't fuck up. Don't do it.
On YouTube, somebody left a comment on Francis's interview recently saying, you know, good job, Jenna. You're not about the clickbait. This is a real interview. Keep it up. And that made me feel so good, because it was like, you know, this is like my whole objective is to like shed light on the man behind the fighter, you know, help people kind of get to know the journey, the struggle, the passion, all of it. So the real shit
that no one really see or care about, but they should, because
they do care.
The man.
They do care. People are interested in this. I mean, I have 400,000 listeners every week because of it, you know?
They got to prove it to me.
Yeah.
Show me you care. I mean, I don't rely on them to do it. I don't. In my mind, I'm not doing it for anybody. I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it for my mom. I'm doing it for my family, and I'm definitely doing it for the motherfuckers that say I can't. Just to see that look on your face.
Yes. You know, that's another survey I did. I asked people, what drives you more, support or someone saying you can't do it? And the majority of people said someone saying you can't do it.
Oh
Proving
yeah,
them
I'm the
wrong.
best. You tell me I can't, I'll be like, all right, watch me. And not only that, I'm gonna do it 10 times better.